side of the line of scrimmage.
I think it's going to be a personal foul on Dorrance Armstrong, but I actually think the Cowboy player flopped. I don't think he actually pushed him very hard at all, but that's where the flag came out after the kick.
This come after the play?
Yeah, it was late. It was, they were pushing and shoving and talking about this for a long time.
The resulting try is successful. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the offense, number 67. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 92. Those penalties offset.
Well, there you go. So no harm, no foul, and I don't think either one of them.
Commanders maybe to get back to that area, back into DC. Amazing. Daniels to throw. John Bates, first catch of the day. Ball is out. Cowboys have it. Eric Kendricks recovers. The question will be, did he have possession and then fumble? That is the initial ruling.
Yeah, it's Donovan Wilson. This is the exact same play Dallas ran, the little fake toss play action. I think he definitely has possession, and what a great job by Donovan Wilson. It's almost like Dan Quinn being in the building again for this Dallas defense has kind of rekindled their spirit. They're taking the ball away. They're attacking the ball. Great hustle there by Kendricks to recover it. And again, you just can't say enough. This Dallas defense, we said how much of today was going to be on their shoulders to create splash negatives, and a little bit of their magic defensively certainly returned here today.
Second takeaway for the Cowboys. Here's Dowdle on the toss. Rico Dowdle. Big first down gain. Now the Cowboys came into the game 9 takeaways, 10 games total for a franchise that under Dan Quinn led the NFL in those 3 years when he was the DC. They've got 2 of them today against a Washington team that had only turned over 5 times all year coming in. It's the fewest in the NFL. 7.5 to go.
You're Washington, you have to be thinking stop, take away, at the very most give up a field goal. They've got to keep this a 1-score game with their offensive struggles.
Rush for the quick throw. CeeDee Lamb. 10th catch of the day for Lamb. Takes it to the 25 and takes Martin, and Seymour still with him. Rush just kind of quietly managing this game. 23 out of 31. He's not turned it over. Exactly what you'd ask for from your second quarterback who's taken over for your franchise guy.
And it's worth noting he went a long stretch without playing, and he was very honest with us when we met him this week. He said, my feet were sloppy in my first game back, and my timing was last week. Even though it came in a loss, I felt a lot more comfortable.
Dowdle. Another big gain on first down. He gets 6. And this is a guy in Rush who, he said at first, it was, I just want to be the starting quarterback on varsity, right, at Lansing Catholic. And then from there, it's like, okay,
first
this is
he wanted to be Joe Davis.
Okay, sure. So
then
after that,
he wanted to be the starter on varsity.
So, well, yeah, he aimed a little higher. Then he went to Lansing Catholic. He said, maybe I can play in college. He goes to Central Michigan. He didn't get a shot here. Not only does he get a shot there, he says, wait a minute, am I going to have a chance to play in the NFL? And he says, now he looks and he's like, how in the world did I get here? Almost a decade in the league. On 2nd and 3. Flags fly. False start.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Game break time. Hello again, Carissa.
Hello.
Dowdle. Who's hitting the backfield, still got a few. 80 yards for Rico Dowdle, whose best game was Washington's best win. You go back to when they beat Pittsburgh. Dowdle had a season-high 20 carries, ran for 87 yards, got him to 3-2 at that point, and they've leaned on him today. 3rd down and 5. 5:40 to go in a 4-point game.
Worth noting, Awesome Richards back in at left tackle after that last false start by Tyler Guyton. He was taken out of the game, and Richards back in there, number 76 at left tackle at the bottom of the screen.
On 3rd and 5. Rush. Over the top. Touchdown. Dropped it into Schoonmaker. 22-yard strike. Luke Schoonmaker was wide open for his first touchdown of the year.
Yeah, just a complete busted coverage. Half of the defensive backfield, Joe, was playing one coverage, and the other half, frankly, I'm not sure what anyone was covering. There was no safety. They weren't playing man. They weren't playing zone. Just a complete bust on a critical third down.
And in a matchup of the tight ends, Washington
field, just not exactly sure how they just let him just run right by. Everyone else is playing underneath. It's Jeremy Chinn. Jeremy Chinn's playing it like he thinks Quan Martin's going to play middle of the field, and Quan Martin's playing like he thinks it's going to be a two-safety look and that Jeremy Chinn's going to get some depth and play the other half-field safety. And just a bad, I mean, not even, it's an understatement. That is just a critical mistake at this point in the game.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is getting his first chance in the NFL in 2 years. Struggled the first couple games. Has his team up 20-9. 5:16 to go against a team that's in playoff position coming into the day.
Probably a handful of people wondering, if you're Dallas, would you have considered going for 2 there? And the logic being, at 11, it's still with a 2-point conversion, still a 2-possession game. Assuming you get it, you go for 2, you make it 12, and now it's a 2-touchdown game with an offense that has really struggled.
Eckler. Austin Eckler crosses the 30.
This game since he's taken over.
Daniels and the Commanders' offense running out of time. McLaurin gets away from Bland and goes down back around the line of scrimmage. Eric Kendricks comes over to finish him off. Now, Washington, you come into this game, these 2 losses against 2 good teams, and there's a little bit of concern, but you go from that to, it's amazing what expectations do. They had none coming into the year. You get the expectations with the 7-2 start. There's going to be some alarm bells going off as Brown dives and pulls this one in for a first down if they can't pull off a late comeback here.
Remember, the first question we really dove into at the top of the broadcast was, what is the Washington Commanders offense version 2.0? Where is the evolution? Where's the growth? Where's the change of tendencies and patterns? Because the style in which took the league by storm when Jane Daniels got off to that historically good young, career start hasn't really matched these last couple weeks.
Dallas brings the blitz here. It's picked up, so he's got time to hit Brown again into Dallas territory. These are the first downs for the Commanders since their touchdown drive opened this half.
And I like this route here. Noah Brown, he's really gotten the bulk of the targets here today. And
Parsons coming and getting there. Micah Parsons sacks Jaden Daniels.
He lines up at defensive tackle. Nick Allegretti, the former Chief, you see him here. He's lined up here on the bottom. He's just going to win. The center has no chance. Tyler Biadasz has no chance to go help Allegretti. You just can't get beat outside if you know the center is coming your way.
4 sacks today for the Cowboys. Flag down. Daniels for De'Ami Brown. Climbed the ladder to get it. Let's see what the call is.
Offsides. Defense, number 55, line up to the neutral zone. That penalty will be declined. Zone plays a first down.
And a gain of 20.
And worth noting now, with the penalty, it's going to stop the clock. This is a really good ball. These have been the most confident, kind of decisive passes. Nice job there by Brown. Really a couple more decisive passes that we've seen by Jaden Daniels all day, and it's come pushing the ball in the middle of the field, those medium zones.
Dallas showing a bunch of pressure, so he gets rid of it quickly. Outside Luke McCaffrey, first catch of the day for the rookie. Bumped out by Josh Butler. 3:34 to go. 2nd and 2 or 3 coming up.
You're Washington, obviously in an ideal situation. You want to run as many plays on the plus side of the 2-minute warning. You don't want to use your 2 remaining timeouts. You want to be able to use the 2-minute warning and your 2 timeouts to be able to stop it 3 times.
Underneath again, it's Zach Ertz. Stopped by Wanye Thomas. To the 10 he goes. Only his second catch of the day. 1st and goal for Washington.
Remember, if they can score here fast, a touchdown especially, they don't have the onside kick, so this is critical they finish in the red zone.
Hand it off McNichols. He's got room. And Jeremy McNichols dancing to the outside to the 4.
Now Dallas gets a chance to kind of reset. Micah Parsons now back on the field. See where Mike Zimmer wants to line him up. We've seen him play both edges. We've seen him play inside in a 3 technique, meaning he's lining up on the offensive guard. They can move him around. They're going to try to force a field goal if they can, but I think if I'm Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn, this is touchdown or bust here. No field goals for them.
2nd and goal. He's got one-on-one with McLaurin. Instead, zips it over the middle for a Zach Ertz touchdown. Washington not finished yet. 3:02 left in a 5-point game. And the 2-point conversion coming.
Great job there. Just a great route. Really good anticipation and timing. When Jaden Daniels need to put his best drive together to give his team a chance here late, that's the best we've seen him in the passing game in weeks. And you just have to ask yourself, did it come a little too late in the game? But he was in rhythm. He was attacking downfield, past the yard to gain.
7 for 7 on that drive.
Now this is where I think Dallas is going to take their. I think Dallas took a timeout.
Timeout. Dallas. Their second of the half.
So they've used 2 timeouts in this game. They used one just in kind of a random 3rd down and 9 spot where the play call wasn't clear to everybody. And they used one right here to be sure before the 2-point conversion. Hoping that they don't need one. They don't need to worry about that. Leading by 5 with 3 minutes left.
And we mentioned when Trey Lance came in the game for Dallas, even though the play went for a loss, I said that having a mobile quarterback that you're willing and able to activate as an extra runner and the stress it puts down here. So now on the 2-yard line, Dallas has to understand that if they account for both the quarterback and both the run fits and the quarterback and all the pass receivers, all the eligibles, there's only so many guys to go around. So they've got to be really sure of their assignments, who's responsible for the quarterback, and he can't take his eyes off him, make somebody else beat you.
Eckler's the running back. Leads the way for Daniels. Bounces to the edge and gets 2. 3:02 left. 3-point game. Jaden Daniels scampers in for the 2-point conversion.
That's what I'm saying. You know they're going to put the ball in the hand of their best player. But Wanye Thomas, you see him number 30. He's out here off the screen. He's got to set an edge out here on Eckler and allow Micah Parsons to be the inside-out chase player. You're going to see Micah Parsons. He turns and says, come on, man. Set the edge. I'm a free runner. But instead, he jumps inside. That Eckler being able to get the edge there with the block on Thomas in the field. Now it just becomes a foot race. And even though Micah Parsons is unblocked, the rest of the defense doesn't do their part. And now we got ourselves a ball game.
So Jaden Daniels' sense of urgency right here puts together his best drive maybe in weeks. 7 out of 7, and then finishes it off with a 2-point conversion.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of time here, 3 minutes, but we mentioned it. After that last extra point to make it an 11-point game, should Mike McCarthy have made it 12, right? Make them have to score 2 touchdowns. Now with 3 ability to stop the clock, 2 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning, they can kick this thing deep.
Line drive to Turpin, and it bounces through his legs. Here he comes. Devontae Turpin spinning 3. Here he goes. Fastest man in the NFL. Devontae Turpin takes it all the way. Touchdown Dallas. $95 yards and The special teams adventure of a Sunday afternoon continues.
You know, there's something about a bobbled kick that the coverage unit just kind of slow down. They just downshift just a little bit, and that went from looking like an absolute disaster to being a 95-plus yard touchdown. It's just one of the most dynamic players in all of football, and special teams has just been an absolute disaster at times for both teams, and no bigger than that.
I guess the glass half full or glass half empty. If it's half full, it's, well, we've gotten a block kick. We've blocked the punt. If you're Washington, if you're Dallas, oh, well, we got a kick return touchdown.
Yeah, so watch. So he fumbles it, and now everyone just kind of starts checking down, and they just completely lose the leverage integrity of the return of the kickoff unit, and he gets into the open field, and it's over.
You know the move on Madden. He hits a spin button to the outside.
Oh,
done.
my God. I mean, look at that. I mean, Jeremy Reeves, then Jordan McGee, number 58. He just completely gets out of his lane inside, and you see him reach his hand out there, but that's not going to do it against a guy like this.
And so Kevontae Turpin, perennial Pro Bowl return man, adds a kick return touchdown to a season that already has a punt return touchdown. And McCarthy and Rush, what are we worrying about? Like Turpin back there to calm the nerves a little bit right after Washington had cut it to 3.
Because even if you are able to get down there and get a quick score, you're completely reliant on recovering the onside kick, which in the NFL this season has been virtually impossible.
Swing pass. Austin Eckler stays in bounds and loses the ball. Kendricks on top.
We're going to take a look here at Eric Kendricks. He was having a hard time getting off the field, and then he ended up just kind of taking a knee. Couldn't exactly tell what was wrong.
24 second half points for Dallas. This is on the kick return. Jaden's reaction. If we're not great at lip reading.
Yeah, I think he said, man, what happened there?
Yeah.
I think that's something along those lines. But I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, gosh, you're sitting there, you say, I just had the best drive we've had in weeks. We've come to life. We've made this thing a 3-point game. You still can stop the clock 3 times and get it back and try to either go win or kick a field goal, and then all of a sudden the game completely flips on its head, and he just has to sit on the bench and helplessly watch.
And for Dan Quinn and the Commanders, this is an organization that's tormented them so much the last 2 decades. Figure roles have reversed. Going to maybe have the upper hand this time, but going to need a late miracle. Hurts. Hurdles out of bounds.
So now, you're Jane Daniels here. You can throw this ball anywhere you want on the field. The 2-minute warning is going to stop the clock regardless, so you can keep those 2 timeouts in your pocket and you don't have to force this ball out of bounds.
2nd and 5. Flag down. Finds an opening for De'Ami Brown. Brown inside the 20. Down to the 16 he goes. 20.
cho bạn ấy em bây giờ xào lên không biết người dân soạn cái nhiều mình nói để không có cái giao nam đó và cái tin tư để cảm ngay cái bài tự nhiên đó đâu mình làm phải sao
tao đang đi tác nghiệp đây có thấy à, tao đang đi tác nghiệp đây nè, tao đang đi tác nghiệp đây.